What's good? Wait for some people to get on here, y'all. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. What is today? Tuesday. What y'all doing on this dark, cold day? What are y'all doing on this dark, cold day? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh, my lighting is terrible today. Hey Trey, what's good, girl? What's good? My lighting is bad today. The sun is in and out. I don't know what he want to do. Hold on, let me find my Where's everyone? Where's everyone? Where is everyone? Hey Vicky, how you doing? How you doing today? Sean Thompson, how you doing, baby? I am doing fine. I am lovely. I am lovely, lovely, lovely. Cannot complain. Yeah, get him out of here. See, Demons is out. What's going on with you, present? Glory to God. What's the real talk for today? The real talk for today, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Okay, we'll pray for you at the end. Okay, baby? We'll pray for you at the end, and hopefully you get delivered from whatever you're going through. Salute, Tino YN. How are you? Who else on here? Hey, Bass Van Well, how are you doing? He said, my kind of girl. How y'all doing today? I'm doing fine, Sean. I cannot complain. Just, getting through this week right now. Just really been hectic and crazy, but, through the grace of God, I am getting through it. So I have no complaints. Your mom in the hospital really needs blessings to me. Okay, we're going to pray for your mom. That God send his healing angels over there to her and that she gets well. Vicky, are you twisted? What's going on? You got Vicky. Yeah, we're going to pray for your mom in the hospital that she gets well, that God send his healing angels over there to her, that no weapon formed against her shall prosper. Also, God said by his stripes we are healed. And we asking that God heal her and touch her in a mighty, mighty way, that she would shock the doctors. She would shock the doctors because guess what? At the end of the day, the doctor has the final say-so. And what you should do is if you can get, someone with authority to pray over your mom, that may help her recover because a lot of illnesses and sicknesses, that people be going through, it really be demonic forces and demons, up in us. So ask God for some money. I'm broke. Well, you don't want to ask God for money. You want to ask God to, bless your finances, And if you're having financial struggles, you're probably going through spiritual warfare. Thank you, President. I love you. Thank you. Yeah. Your mom's going to get good. But yeah, she definitely needs some deliverance, okay? Because I've seen stories where people had all kind of illnesses, and when they got delivered, that demon came up out of them. Because most sicknesses is demons. Sean Thompson say, "Amen, Miss Sexy Mom. Have all the blessings. God is always with." Let me see, baby. Yes, baby. Thank you. MB is a troll. Chill, MHB. He said MHB is a troll. Who is MHB? Well, salute to him. if he's in here, but I don't know what you're talking about. MB is a troll. Let me see. He may be a troll. One thing about the trolls, they have an assignment also. They get up in the mornings and, this is their assignment, to get on YouTube and see who they can upset. Oh, you're bad. Okay, that's what MB me. My bad. Thank you for your wonderful comments, Sean. Okay, so that's what MB mean. Okay, so look, don't shoot me down now, because a lot of this stuff, I'm still learning. So you say BAF, that means bad as F. Okay, so we know what that one means. We know what that means. So let's get that out the way. Thank you, Tyreek. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So some of these people, they are in bondage, with sicknesses, with illnesses, a lot of these things can be turned around. Okay? But also have your mom renounce any sin. Any sin, any like if she's harboring any anger towards anyone, she have to release everything, okay? And then if you can find a deliverance, well, actually, it's a lady that I am going to thank you, President. Yeah, he say subscribe. It's a lady that I'm going to show Anointed Fire. It's her YouTube channel, okay? And she's really good with getting people delivered from certain things, okay? Certain spirits and stuff that is on us that is wreaking havoc on our health, okay? So I'm going to show her soon. And she also does it on her YouTube channel. You don't have to go to her or whatever. If you feel like, you're battling any kind of sickness or demons in you that you want to get rid of, you know, get with her, get on her YouTube channel. And whenever she does her deliverance ministries, get with her, okay? She's really good. Because a lot of these things that we're dealing with is from generational curses, witchcraft from the unseen realm. I don't know how old his mom is. Let me see. You said mother is always peace and soul is a blessing. How more can have children. We all need faith in God powers. Blessings how more can have children. I'll need to access your YouTube data. Okay, no. We don't need you to access anything. Just chill. Chill. You're moving too fast. So a lot of these sicknesses will come about these people, okay? So that is my recommendation for your mom, okay? A lot of people don't know what's going on with them. A lot of these sicknesses and illnesses come on from, people speaking bad on you, you speaking bad on yourself, and you allowing these spirits and entities to take over you, okay? So during my spiritual walk and me going through everything I went through these last few years and 6 months, I learned a whole lot and the reason behind a whole lot of things. She's 74 years old, yeah, so she has time to, repent, if she's in a hospital and if she's in, that condition, yeah, she definitely needs to renounce sin. She needs to, I will post some spiritual warfare prayers, because it could be some kind of demonic force. I know you understand everything about that, how God, angel come, peace, and in the spirit, you are a strong soul, and your master queen, princess angel. Thank you, baby. Thank you so much. Yeah. So that is my job. That is my assignment. Like God woke me up like probably about 12:15 this morning, a.m. because he wants me to be, on watch. So praying for people, people get delivered, praying for myself, the issues I've been going through and faced with. But, now my eyes are wide open to everything now, so definitely want to do that if you want to save your mom, okay? I am from New Orleans, Louisiana, baby. I am from New Orleans, Louisiana, born and raised. You can't speak in English, but you will try. Okay, well, Google has a translation thing in there also. You can, put it in there, copy, paste it, and bring it back. I'm sorry you can't speak English. Wow. You're not understanding nothing I'm saying. And I can't type it in there, but yeah. So a lot of these things we're dealing with, we need to be delivered. And, you know, a lot of people will object to this. Well, no, I don't need deliverance. Yes, you do. You need deliverance, okay? Because look back at your life and see where it's going. Look at your relationships, you know. Oh, you're from Pakistan? Oh, Tahir Rahman. Okay, from Pakistan. Okay, yeah, so definitely another language there. So we're talking about, you know, the generational curses, you know, and I'm glad he said that about his mom, because a lot of things we're going through, sicknesses, illnesses, things in the family line down the generation. You know, some families, they have, you know, generational curses on them, and most families do, you know, and most of it is, you know, from our ancestors. You know, a lot of these curses, you know, we were sold into slavery. You know, we were sold, you know. So a lot of illnesses and sicknesses that we go through is usually generation, okay? And then some people have cancer in their generation, really bad, you know? It's like the mom, the daughter, you know, everybody. It's a curse. If you're experiencing these things, that curse has to be broken. It has to be broken. Please tell you what, watch English content. Yeah, you're going to have to watch English content because we don't have a translator here. I really wish we did, but we don't. Okay? So, diabetes is another one, you know. If you got diabetes issues or anything like that, it's usually a demonic spirit and force trying to take you out, okay? And if you're not aware of these things and these entities, you know, it will take you out, okay? It will take you out. And a lot of these things we have no control over, but by the grace of God, He gave us the power and authority, okay, to get these demons and cast them out. They can be cast out. I know y'all seen my videos with them demons coming out, them people screaming, you know, but you have to renounce your sin, you know, and yes, it's a struggle. Life is a struggle because this is what we have to do, you know. Every day is a struggle. It's not going to be peaches and cream, you know, but we have to give God more time, you know. We have to give God more time, and that's where I failed at in life too. And that was the reason for my downfall, and also the reason for the enemy to take place in my life, okay? And to wreak havoc, okay, in my life, okay? So now I'm aware of everything. I even know in my past relationship, it's not even that person. It's the spirits on them. It's the Leviathan, it's the Python, you know, it's so many spirits, you know. And then, you know, you're dealing with spirit spouses and stuff, you know. People, you know, you get into relationships and then that relationship is so chaotic or you just having a lot of bad things happen to you. It's usually a spirit spouse involved that do not want that relationship to go nowhere, okay? And if you don't recognize these things, then yes, you can be taken out by these spirit spouses, okay? So the girl Anointed Fire, I'm gonna let y'all hear her little rundown. Oh, let me say my copyright thing first. And she does the deliverance on her channel, so y'all can go on there if you feel like you have any spirits on you that you need to, you know, come out. So copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1974, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, so we're gonna get that out the way. But her channel is Anointed Fire. Let me see this her, yeah.
What I want to talk about is there is an article about Tiffany H. And she has reportedly said that she has had 8 miscarriages. 8 of them. 8 miscarriages. That is a sign of a spirit spouse. Another thing, I wish I had pulled it up because I obviously need to get myself together tonight. I'm going to see if I can find it.
Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna have to sit this.
I actually did a stitch on this last year. I think
let me get my. Hold up, y'all. Let me get my thing.
I did a stitch on this last year where she talked about a man that entered into her dreams. And I'm gonna see if I can find it.
So she was talking about how can you improve your English? You got to take an English course, baby. Okay, take your English course. That's the only way to improve it. Okay, hold on one second, y'all. Let me get these little things so I can make this thing higher.
It should be hard. Give me a second, give me a second, give me a second. How you not coming up easy? Okay, let's see here. Nope.
So first of all, she was talking about Tiffany Haddish. I know y'all know her. She was saying how she had like 8 miscarriages. Okay, she had not 1 miscarriage, not 2, but 8 of them. Okay, this is usually a spirit spouse. If you find yourself having multiple miscarriage, cannot carry kids, this is something spiritual. Okay, I didn't know that, but now I do know. I do know now what it is. It's something that do not want you to have kids because they want you for themselves, okay? And they're very jealous.
All right, give me a second, guys.
Come on, let me forward this forward a little bit. Let me bring it a little closer right quick. So she's talking about a demon. Okay, this is Tiffany Haddish. She's talking about a demon that visits her, at night, and it comes and it do what it do to her. Okay, and she's claiming this thing. She said this is her boo, this is her baby, and this is the reason why she can't bear kids. Okay, because she's harboring a spirit spouse. Okay. She called it husband.
What she's literally describing, when I get into this lesson, you're going to see a lot of what she's describing. She is literally describing a spirit spouse. Being faceless, when she says he's taller than her, in many cases, there can be different reasons why somebody's taller than you in a dream, but oftentimes it's an indicator of rank, which means that this particular spirit has a great measure of rank. Now, spirits get their rank based on how many people they can bring under their dominion, and also through the rank of people they bring under their dominion, which is why leaders are upset. This is why demons are obsessed with humans. But in here, she's describing, this was last year, she's describing this man that comes in her dreams, and she said he'd be killing it, meaning that he'd be, having sex with her. Sister, so let's take you up, that's beautiful. But she said he'd be killing it, and she said she calls him husband. That is a spirit spouse. And now, it comes out that she's had 8 miscarriages. That's a spirit spouse. Spirit spouses always cause miscarriages, what it will at least try to cause a miscarriage. Some of you may have had kids, and you had to fight to hold on to that kid in your womb. You probably suffered a series of miscarriages. What have you had to do a lot of praying?
Now, the miscarriage part, yeah. Some people, they can carry a baby to like a certain point and then they miscarry, and they try multiple times. They get to that certain point, like she said, they got to struggle to keep that baby. They got to struggle. In my life, I think I had 1 miscarriage, okay, but I think I was real young, okay? But that was the only one. I don't know if that was a spirit spouse or whatever going on. I don't know, but it never happened again.
Fasting or what have you in order for you to hold on to a kid. That is a spirit spouse. So last year she tells us, again, she goes on this interview and she's talking about her spirit spouse, and she's talking about him favorably because she's in the darkness. And the Bible talks about those who are in darkness, they know not at what they stumble. They don't understand, right? They don't understand. God said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. But if his people perish for lack of knowledge, you can only imagine what the unbeliever does, right? And as I said in the last one, this is not an indictment, nor is it a cut against her. One thing I want you to understand is that not all people are necessarily bad people, they're just bound people, right?
Yeah.
And they go into the world, they do their thing in the world, and sometimes, I'm gonna keep it real with you, some of you are just not on post. You're not out there to try to reach the lost. Or by the time you get out there, whenever you have the opportunity to reach the lost, if you come across somebody who has money or somebody who's a celebrity, you're too busy trying to look up to them instead of letting them see that you are the one to be looked up to, meaning the God in you, because God wants to use you to pour into them, to minister to them, so that they can get their salvation and their deliverance. But that is to say, a lot of people are off post, but she says she suffered through 8 miscarriages. 8 miscarriages. She's got a spirit spouse. She likely has a spirit spouse, and this thing, it has been running in her bloodline now. If you go look at her story, I'm gonna see if did I even open something?
And I don't know if y'all have anybody or know anybody personally that tried to have kids and cannot. You know, you need to let them know, pass this on to them. They need to go get delivered. You know, I have someone in my family, you know, she cannot have kids. Okay? She has not even been pregnant. So, and also on her dad's side, she has an aunt that has that same problem. Cannot. What this lady want? Hold tight 1 second, y'all. Yes, hello. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Into it from your dashboard, but they gotta get your design choice first.
Okay, I sent them my design and logo, and also I don't have a login info also to get on this portal.
Okay.
That was my.
Send that.
Y'all gonna send it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Okay, prompt 2. Okay, prompt 1 and then prompt 2. Oh, I'm gonna call him back in a minute. I'm in the middle of something right now. Yeah, I'll give him a call back here shortly. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay, so let's get back on this. That's for my website, y'all. They building my website. It's gonna be real professional, real professional. Putting some things together, you know, for the first of the year. So, um, like I said, when you in God's word and really He see that you're diligent, you know, yeah, He's putting things right there in front of me where and this was like an opportunity of a lifetime for me right here. You know what I'm saying? That very call. So website gonna be professional. It's gonna be people can get on there, check their tax refunds. They're gonna have a part on there, where they can do the job applications. It's just gonna be like phenomenal site, just like links. I mean, it's just gonna be real professional. Okay. So that's what she was calling me for. I need to get on there and log on so I can choose what site I want to get. Okay, so many to choose from. I don't know. I didn't really have time earlier because I had to run some errands. So now I'm super excited because this is what I've been wanting: a professional done website where people can get on there, check their returns, they can get refund status on deadlines, just everything just a tax website needs. It's going to be like really great. Okay, so that's one of the things I was working on also. So that's something I got to do today. Okay, and then I'm adding other things to my business also. So when tax season's not there, I'm going to have other things going on in the midst throughout the year. Okay, putting things together. So yes, it's really been a busy, hectic time for me and trying to put things together. So with these people help, and baby, they just fell in my lap. fell in my lap. Like, baby, look, we're going to everything, okay? Marketing, everything. So, yeah. One thing about a business, marketing, yes, is key, okay? They're going to do all that, okay? Site going to be up to par. Everything is going to be in line. Okay, so going back to her, she was saying, Tiffany Haddish with the 8 miscarriages, and then she's claiming a spirit spouse. Now, who would want to be making love to a demon? Okay? Even though it may be a great feeling, the best orgasm you could ever reach, because, we all had wet dreams before. I had one at 16. Yes, it's the best orgasm you probably would ever encounter in your life, because they make it so good, okay? Because they want you to be stuck, okay? No. All right, so Tiffany, she has a spirit husband, so these things are real. It visits her. It comes and put the pound game on her. It does all that to her. And she's sitting there laughing. And if any man get with her, he's in trouble. Because that spirit husband is going to rip him apart. Let's go.
Up with her. Let me see. Give me a second. Matter of fact, I'm not going to even open that. I'm going to go to my Gmail from here.
Hold
This
up,
is what I
y'all.
should have did. All right. I'm going to read an article from Y Entertainment, which is Yahoo, I think. And it's called Tiffany Haddish Didn't Necessarily Want a Baby, but Gave Her Every Pregnancy a Chance. Tiffany Haddish is well known for her comedic side. However, she skipped the jokes for a vulnerable conversation about her fertility struggles. The sensational actress is no stranger to being sex positive and open about her love life, but fans were oblivious to the battle she faced behind the scenes. This included 8 miscarriages, lives the Haunted Mansion star desperately tried to keep. I'm trying to see if it tells her story. She goes on to say, I'm pretty sure that the devil is real because the first day of my period, no matter what, the devil goes into overdrive. I feel like my life gets turned upside down. She explained, noting that she suffered from painful periods for years. But she was eventually diagnosed with endometriosis. I'm trying to see if I saw an article, but I'll kind of give you the gist of it. And I wrote it down. Hadish's father, who was Eritrean, left the family when she was still a toddler. After her mother suffered brain damage in a car accident, Hadish spent several years in foster care before going to live with her grandmother as a teenage mother, allegedly physically and verbally abused Hadish and her siblings after the wreck. And that came from Encyclopedia Britannica. She had a father. Her father left her when I think I read it said she was 3 years old. Left her mother. Her mother eventually ended up having a car wreck. Y'all, that's a spirit spouse. I'm gonna keep it real. That's a spirit spouse.
So that's another thing. Car accidents, all that bull crap. It's usually something spiritual, like she said. It's a spirit spouse. Okay? It's a spirit spouse. It's a demon. It's demonic. Okay? And what it's trying to do is take you on up out of here. Okay? So y'all better open up your eyes and listen to everything. Everything. These demonic forces are so real, it'll blow your head back. Okay?
What I'm reading in here, from what I know about spirit spouses, is this is a full description of a spirit spouse. And 9 times out of 10, she's probably carrying her mother's spirit spouse, and her mother carried her grandmother's spirit spouse, because spirit spouses tend to be generational. And that is to say that the spirit spouse that you may be suffering from, the spirit spouse that you may be finding yourself wrestling with, is a nasty little creature that has been in your bloodline, that has been messing with your mama, your dad, your grandma, your granddad, your it's probably traveled all the way back from Africa, right? Or it could have traveled back from in America, wherever it found you at, wherever you found your ancestors at, it traveled all the way to you. Just like we travel from one city to the next city to the next state to another country,
Deep.
Spirit spouses travel through bloodlines.
Wow.
Now, there are other ways you can pick up a spirit spouse, but the most common way is generational, and I will tell you in here how many. I will tell you different ways that you can pick up spirit spouse. Like I said, it's going to be pretty revelatory for you tonight, so make sure you stay tuned. Be sure to share it, like it, because there are so many people out here who can use this information. I did pull up some more articles because I was curious to see who else? How many other celebrities suffered from multiple miscarriages? Because whenever you're having multiple miscarriages, that is usually a sign. I'm not going to say 1,000% of the time it's a spirit spouse. I will say, in my opinion, in 98, 99% of the time it's going to be a spirit spouse, but it could be biological. We never want to rule that out. I just believe most biological things are spiritual before they become biological.
Absolutely.
So this one says she's from The View. I never heard of her because I don't watch The View. But Debbie Matinopoulos. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I'm gonna read what I pulled up about her. All right, and if y'all know how to say her name, please forgive me, because you probably watched The View. I didn't watch it. All right, let's see here. I got this pulled up right here. We bless God. Let's see. This one is IMDb. Now, it wasn't a lot on her. Honestly, I was looking for common things about how the spirit spouses got in. So I was typing in their name and I was typing in rape, because that's one way that they like to get in or what have you. And she was the only one I think I pulled up as far as celebrities that didn't have a record or they didn't have any article about rape. That doesn't mean that she hasn't suffered.
So if y'all think y'all dealing with a spirit spouse, you know, she's going to tell you how to be delivered from that spouse, okay? Because these things are very wicked, they're very cruel, they're very jealous, they're very envious. And if you get into like a new relationship and it don't work, y'all always, you know, it's toxic. It's usually probably the spirit spouse don't want that to work, okay?
Through that, it could be that she's super private about it, but then again, it could get in through other ways as well. So Debbie, and this is again IMDb, Debbie Matinopoulos was born on December 13, 1974 in Richmond, Virginia, USA. She is an actress and producer known for Celebrity Deathmatch, 1998, American Dreams, 2002, and An Image of You, 2024. She has been married to John Falcone since 2013, which is a great sign. They have one child. She was previously married to Jay Ferris. Okay, she is divorced. Let's see. She was hospitalized for an injury that was a result of a stunt she attempted for a segment of Good Day Live 2001. Let me see something. Okay, 2001. I wonder when she met Jay Ferris, because she married him in 2003. And I'm almost sure she probably dated him. Let me see. It's probably not gonna pull up. She probably met him. So I'm saying that to say, spirit spouses typically attack whenever you get into a relationship, especially if it's a serious relationship or whenever you get married. This segment was focused on firefighting training, in which she practiced a fall from a 3-story building at Los Angeles fire station. She landed incorrectly on an airbag and was rushed to the hospital for a possible head injury. It was a closed head wound, and she was temporarily blind. And that was written September 9th, 2004. I don't know. Okay, I don't know when this, why it got to September 9th, 2004. But it sounds like a spirit spouse. Okay, move on. No worries. I'm just reading the celebrity's name, but we're going to get to it. Another one that likely has a spirit spouse is Debbie Matinopoulos. How do you say her name? She had 9 miscarriages.
Oh, wow.
9 miscarriages. Another one, Gabriel Union, it says 8 or 9.
Yeah,
and I wanted to see, I looked it up, I was like, I wonder if she's ever been raped. Now, again, a lot of times it's generational, so it probably didn't come in through the rape. Many cases, the rape is just a demon trying to reinforce itself. I'll tell you a little bit of my story as we go along, but sometimes it's a demon trying to reinforce itself and strengthen itself, right? So, Gabriel Union, I looked her up, and it says she's had a total of 8 or 9 miscarriages.
Oh, wow.
And this is from Glamour. Gabriel Union describes being raped at gunpoint in a powerful book excerpt.
That's probably when you got introduced.
Glamour. I want to make sure, because you always got to make sure you give them their credit. All right. Culture by Gabriel Union. She actually wrote this. She said, when I was 19, I got a job at Payless Shoes with some friends. It was easy work. You didn't actually have to help anyone. That was the beauty of it. The customers help themselves and you ring them up. So basically, you can F around all day and get paid. Someone was robbing Payless stores that summer, but we didn't know a thing about it. He was a former employee, black. The management and police had identified him because he robbed a store where he worked. They had a description, even his driver's license information. Mind you, Payless sent a store-wide alert to tell you how to display new sandals, so they definitely had the ability to warn us about this guy, and yet they didn't. When the man first walked in, I was straightening a display of fake Timberlands. He came up behind me and asked about the boots. I took one look at him and wanted to run, but I didn't. I was aware of how my coworkers and the people in our mostly white community view Black people, so my racial solidarity and good home training as a polite woman kicked in. At 8:45, I started vacuuming. We weren't supposed to vacuum until the store closed at 9, but this was a trick. This was a trick staffers did to tell customers that it was time to get the F out. Sorry for the profanity. The vacuum was loud, but I still heard goth girl scream for me to come to the register. Something in her voice told me to run. Again, I didn't. I walked to the front where the man was holding a gun to her head. As goth girl gave him the money, he was incredulous that there was only a couple of hundred in the register. As a former employee, he knew there should be more. I already did the drop, Doc said, referring to walking the pouch of money to the nearby bank. It was another way we could cut corners to clock out early. She sounded more annoyed than frightened. The man marched us into the storeroom, pressing his gun into my back. He said, "Take off your clothes." Goth was still pissed. I'm not taking off my clothes. I'm not taking my clothes off. Mind you, I was naked in a second. It never occurred to me to say no. He crammed us both into the tiny bathroom, and then seconds later ordered me to come out. He threw me to the ground and was suddenly on me, spreading my legs. As he kept the gun on my head, as he raped me, I began to hover over myself. I could see the whole room. I looked at that poor girl crying and thought things like this happened to me.
So those spirit spouses can enter in through SA. Okay.
That people, things like this don't happen to people like me. And I will stop reading from there because I don't want to read the entire thing. So one of the things you're going to learn as I'm teaching is that spirit spouses, a lot of times whenever you're demonized, whenever they feel they have a legal right to you, a lot of times the way a demon will strengthen itself in you is through trauma. Now it can enter through rape, right? And so it could potentially enter her through rape, but then again, a lot of times it could already be there and it can enter you through trauma. I mean, it could be a generational issue and it can already be trauma there. And a lot of times where it could be already in there, but the devil will throw trauma in the mix. One, so he can transfer more unclean spirits into you, and then two, so he can strengthen the unclean spirit that you already have. So let's just go ahead and move on. And that's Gabriel Union. She had 8 or 9 miscarriages. All right, last but not least, Sharon Stone. And it says she had 9 miscarriages.
Wow, that's a lot of miscarriages.
She was molested by her grandfather.
Oh, wow.
It's not Lance. She's not Lance. Let me see. Give me a second. And Sharon Stone. This one is from People magazine. Sharon Stone says she and her sister decided together to reveal they were sexually abused in memoir. Sharon Stone is speaking candidly about her decision to come forward with details about her sexual abuse while chatting with the New York Times for a recent interview.
Some of these grandpas need to stop. Why y'all molesting these dang on kids? That don't make no dang on sense. Can't trust them, man.
The 63-year-old actress discussed her forthcoming memoir, The Beauty of Living Twice, and how she recalled her horrible memories from her past for the book, including a time when she and her sister Kelly were sexually abused by her grandfather when they were younger. This is usually how a spirit spouse gets in, or this is usually how it enforces or strengthens it itself. It brings you into subjection. I think last but not least, I have one more, someone by the name of Halsey. Singer Halsey revealed she endured multiple sex assaults in a powerful poem at a women's march. Halsey has opened up about her own experiences with sexual assault in a powerful and honest poem. I will stop right there, but she's had 3 miscarriages. So one of the things that you're going to find commonly with a lot of women who have spirit spouses is that they were sexually assaulted. And again, a lot of times this is how that spirit got into the woman, and the same is true for men. But in other cases, it's not necessarily how it got in. But again, this is how it reinforces itself. This is how it strengthens itself. So you can be a believer and unbeliever, and you can weaken a demon by not giving into it. It can start to lose ground in you because submit yourself to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. That's for the believer. And you can start losing ground in you because you're starting to heal, you're starting to mature, you're starting to get better, you're starting to make better decisions. Maybe you're studying your Bible, maybe you're hanging around better people, maybe you're just making the decision to do better. And demons, they feed on your sin. They don't necessarily feed on your sin. They get you to relinquish your sin, get you to relinquish your authority through sin, and they feed on your authority. And so what they do is, if you start to surrender, if you start trying to do right, and many of you can testify to this, when you started trying to get closer to God, when you started trying to go to church, when you started trying to do right, you started going through attack, right?
Yep.
Maybe it was somebody trying to rape you, maybe it was an ex-boyfriend that started stalking you, or an ex-girlfriend that started stalking you, something started happening horrible.
I'm sorry, y'all.
You started saying, God, why are you allowing this to happen to me? No, what was happening is that you were taking away legal ground from the enemy. And the enemy understands that the minute you start taking away legal ground, that demon starts to get weaker and weaker. So what that spirit will do is it will use whatever access it has to you, and it will orchestrate an attack.
Oh.
And in many cases, that attack may sound like, hello, what's your name? What's your number? You got a man?
Hear that all the time.
It could be an attack, right? And so you
could be an attack.
Oblivious to it, all you see is a pretty face.
Could be an attack.
Oblivious to the fact that you're under attack, and you find yourself giving your number out to the weapon that was formed against you. You find yourself giving your number out simply because the guy looks cute. I tell people all the time that warfare doesn't always feel negative. It doesn't always feel like an attack.
Mm-hmm.
Warfare can feel pleasurable. It can be a woman coming up to you, and she's the most beautiful woman. This is my brothers in Christ. Most beautiful woman that you've ever seen. And she seems to be so down to earth, so calm. She seems to be the perfect woman. I'm talking about day 1, day 2, day 3. You already sure that that's your wife. And what you don't know, deep down within the corridors of her spirit is a very high-ranking spirit. And that thing has such control over her that whenever she looks at men, they go into captivation. It's like I said, don't let her capture you with her eyelids. Don't let her capture you with her eyelids. And whenever she comes in contact with men, there's this thing that she tends to bewitch men. And you're over there thinking that you met the one. You're over there thinking that, man, I can't get this girl off my mind. If you can't get somebody off your mind, that's called romantic torment. You're being tormented. But you've learned to identify that as something beautiful. I can't stop thinking about her. I can't get her off my mind. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you may meet people and you may think a lot about them. But you got to look for all the other signs. You know, signs that, okay, you're falling in love. There's no such thing as falling in love. It's only you either love somebody or you don't. You may start to like a person. And eventually, over the course of time, you start to have feelings for a person.
I remember somebody used to say, oh, they love me. Talk about the women that just can't get no men. Okay, yeah. Child. They're dealing with spirit spouses, okay?
But there is no such concept as falling in love. That is an American or a Western concept of falling in love. The Bible tells us, one, that God is love.
First of all, they will say, oh, they love me. Okay, how can somebody love you in 2 weeks, 3 weeks? You know what I'm saying? And you have to explain to people that is a infatuation stage. That is a stage that comes and go, okay? Because in the beginning, yeah, y'all taking pictures, y'all doing everything. Now, some couples still keep it up. You know, my sister and her hubby, they've been rocking and rolling for the last 15 years married, okay? I know somebody else, you know, my other peeps. Her and her husband married 26 years, but they still keeping that, you know, that spark in their marriage, okay? They do have issues also, but they're still keeping that spark. They're still into each other. They're still doing things with each other. So no one's going to love you right away, okay? It's infatuation, because trust me, I've been there head over heels, and then once months and time go, you can't stand that person, okay? You got to also test the spirit.
2, that love is a fruit of the spirit. And
Fruitless.
3, it gives you the characteristics of love. Love is patient. Love is kind. All of these things do not match the American or the Western definition
at
of
all.
the word love.
That's why I don't take it.
So I tell people,
Show
if
me
somebody
love.
says, I love you, what they're saying is, I have God's heart for you, because God is love. If they don't have God's heart, they don't have God's heart for you. The Bible tells us that love never fails. Meaning you can testify that you have told somebody that you love them and that love has failed. You don't love them anymore. You think
You
about
never
them,
loved
I ain't got no feelings for them because it was never love in the first place. Love is not an emotion.
Now, sometimes, I'll retract that, because the love I had for my 16-year marriage, you know, yes, it faded away. It was induced, okay? So, yes, you can turn your heart cold towards someone, especially if you done dealt with that person and all they showed you was negativity, hatred, jealousy, and envy. So there's no way, but the love of God, yes, I have the love of God for him. But far as me, like, crying if something happened, or, no, I don't want nothing to happen to nobody, but no, it's not that type of party no more. So your heart can't grow cold, because like I said, there's no more love there, because once someone show you who they are and that they hate you and envy you, and they trying to take you down, and they trying to slander you and just treat you any kind of way, baby, look.
America, the Western world, the media, Hollywood taught you that love is an emotion. Those feelings that you have, that's not love. Love does not lead you into sin.
That's right.
It's not love. That's just a feeling. I'll call that feeling what it is.
It's infatuation, trust
obsession.
Me. Obsession, infatuation, all that.
That's it. That's it. That's all. It's called obsession. All right. Let's move on. Then we had Sharon Stone. I read about her. And what's up? Who was this? Was hospitalized of the brain injury. I think that was Sharon Stone. So all of these people that I read, all these people that I shared with you, they show signs of having a spirit spouse. So I'm going to give you the characteristics of a spirit spouse, and I got 25 of them to give to you. And you're going to find out if you happen to be wrestling with a spirit spouse, which if you are, no shame to it, because most people do have spirit spouses.
Most people
I've had spirit spouses in my life. I've had to go through several deliverance of spirit spouses. We're going to talk about how they get in as well, so I don't jump the broom. But characteristics of spirit spouses. Number one, sex and dreams. Sex and dreams. Somebody has sex and dream is either going to be a faceless person or a familiar face. Sometimes it can be a face that you've never seen before, but most cases it's going to be a faceless person. You can't see the face, or the face is dark. Or in other cases, it's going to be a familiar face that represents a familiar spirit. Typically, when you see a familiar face in dreams, it can represent the person itself, or in many cases, it represents a familiar spirit, okay? It represents a familiar spirit. But sex in dreams. Number two, dating faceless people in dreams, or dating a faceless person in dreams. And again, the person can have a face, a familiar face, which can represent a familiar spirit. It can represent the person itself, or it can represent how that familiar spirit got into you. So, for example, if you're dreaming of your ex-boyfriend Reggie, and Reggie's dating you in a dream, or what have you, that can be an indicator that spirit got into you through Reggie. Reggie may be playing with love spells, or Reggie may be bound himself. When you had sex with Reggie, you gave what was in him a legal right to you. All right?
So I go.
Dating faceless people in dreams, and that's just flirting with danger. So at that time, if you're dating the person, then you're not married to them yet. So that means that it's not entered into the legality portion. That spirit is dating you, so that it can become a familiar spirit, or it can become a spirit spouse. Number three, marrying faceless people, or marrying a faceless person, or a familiar person in a dream. If you have a dream that you are marrying somebody, you're standing next to this man and he doesn't have a face, or you can't see his face, or you're standing next to this woman and she doesn't have a face, and you can't see her face, that is most cases a spirit spouse. 99.9% of the time, that's going to be a spirit spouse. If they have a face, please don't be deceived into thinking that that's God saying that you're going to marry the person because you dreamed about your ex-boyfriend Reggie and you dreamed that you would marry him. That is not always going to be Reggie. In most cases, that's not Reggie. That is a familiar spirit. And in many cases, that represents a spirit spouse. Spirit spouses love to wear familiar faces that you won't pray against them. They love to wear familiar faces so you don't pray against them. All right, number four, referencing someone as your spirit spouse in a dream, or being referenced by that entity as his spouse. If you dream that you are calling somebody your spouse and you're saying husband, like what Tiffany Hamish said in her dream, she referred to the man as husband. She refers to him as husband. If you find yourself doing that, then that is a sign that you have a spirit spouse. Or if that thing is referencing you as his wife or his husband, then you likely have a spirit spouse. Number five, romantic feelings in dreams about someone familiar or unfamiliar. You ever had a dream where you're talking to somebody and you got these romantic feelings about the person, and you wake up from that dream, you can still feel those bubbles and all that other stuff, you're being courted by spirit. You're being courted by fear because that's not in love. That is your heart being hijacked. The Bible tells you to guard your heart. So there are feelings that your heart will. There are symptoms, and they typically show up tangibly as feelings whenever your heart has been hijacked. The Bible says, "Guard your heart, for out of it pours the issues of life." So whenever you quote unquote fall in love, what you're doing is honestly you're under the spell of words. You're bewitched. And so somebody has said something to you, and you're letting that in. You've unguarded your heart. And whenever your heart is not guarded, whenever something foreign enters into it, it produces a feeling. The media told us that this was a good feeling. It's the same feeling that you get whenever you experience fear. However, whenever you experience fear, for example, if you see a if you see a snake, for example, is very similar to the feeling that you get, and this is scientifically proven, when you see a snake. However, whenever we put it in a romantic realm, we know how to trick our brain and say, this is a good feeling. I can't stop thinking about this boy. I got sweaty palms, butterflies in my stomach. My heart keeps racing. I just can't get him off my mind. That is a sign that your heart is unguarded and your heart is under attack.
Yeah, okay? You shouldn't be feeling that way.
Where were we?
True.
Number 6, miscarriages. If you find that you're having repeated miscarriages, and I wouldn't even wait to find out if you have repeated miscarriages. I always tell people, please go through deliverance before you get married. Please. Before you even start dating, go through deliverance. And learn how to cast out demons before you even think about getting married. But miscarriages, if you find that you are having a slew of miscarriages, then 9 times out of 10, you have your spirit spouse, and that spirit spouse is taking your children out. Spirit spouses they're very jealous demons. They do not want you marrying anybody, and they don't care for you to have anybody's child unless the child is illegal. They can cause miscarriage outside of marriage, of course, but in many cases, they will cause miscarriage whenever you get it within the context of marriage, because demons don't like legal stuff. All right. Now, outside of marriage, can they cause a miscarriage? Yes. In many cases, they will, and in some cases, they won't. Whenever they see that you're outside of marriage and there is no authority, meaning you went and had sex outside of marriage and the man didn't stick around, so that's the husband is the head. Whenever there's no authority, that allows them to raise up as an authority, and then utilize that time to occupy the child through the spirit of rejection, which is going to be one of the strong men in a lot of kids' lives. But the children that are growing up today, a lot of them right now, the authority that's over them is the spirit of rejection, which is why we see increased crime, we see increased promiscuity, we see increased abortions and stuff like that. It's because you got a lot of people who are out here being reckless with their bodies. They have not surrendered their bodies to Christ, and consequently, you have a lot of children. And with these children, when they come up, they're wondering why daddy's not here. Why doesn't daddy want me? Why didn't daddy stick around, at least for me? Which allows the spirit of rejection to raise up as a head and begin to speak to them. All right?
So that's how that part go, okay? With those kids being rejected, okay? And they do wonder, where's their pop? Where's the dad, you know? Kids want to see their dad. So if y'all got kids, call your kids today. Call your kids, you know? Find out what's going on in their lives and world.
But miscarriages, and that right there, usually if the devil has a legal right, it will cause several miscarriages. Number 7, can't seem to get married. Can't seem to get married or delayed marriage. Demons will always try to delay you from getting married. You say, why delay? So you don't have kids. They don't want you having kids with your spouse. They don't want you two coming together. They want to use your best years for themselves, right? Your youth to the enemy is prime real estate. Because whenever you're in your youth, you can attract more people, you have more energy. There's so many more benefits to your youth than your old age. And so demons love to get in whenever you're young. Demons love to get in, and they want to use you, and they will try to stop you from getting married, or they will cause delayed marriage. They'll cause delayed marriage, which means that year after year after year after year after year.
And some people is like that, you know. A lot of women, and maybe some men, I don't know, but a lot of women, you know, they do face that, you know. They never get proposed to, they never get married, they never, you know. It's just like, when is it ever going to happen, you know? So this could be the reason, okay?
40, 50, 60, you won't get married because of a spirit spouse taking claim to you. So you can't seem to get married. Every time you start dating or y'all get close to marriage, you end up getting dumped. Number 8, you can't stay married. Plagued by divorce. Can't stay married. You're plagued by divorce. Every time you look up, You get married, your marriage is ending divorce. Like I said, I had a spirit spouse. I had several spirit spouses. I went through several deliverances from spirit spouses. And I can look back in my childhood. I can look back from the earliest dream that I remember having was I was a young lady. I was 17, 18, 19, somewhere in that range. And I remember this dream that I had. I remember dreaming that I had a baby, but the baby was in the palm of my hands, and it still looked like a fetus. It looked like a cross between an embryo and a fetus. Like it was still in the.
Now that she said that, I'm gonna ask my sister now. One of them, I think they had a dream of miscarriage, a baby they was holding, or whatever. I don't know. It could have been real life, or could have been, I don't know.
Like the embryo stage, but it had grew. So it looked to be about this big. It was super red, and in the dream, I was holding the baby. I knew he was premature, and I felt like he was dead. So in the dream, I was taking him to the trash can to throw him away, and I felt feelings for this baby. Like I felt horrible. I felt hurt. I wanted my baby, and I'm taking him to the trash can, and then he woke up, and he started moving, and I saw him moving, and I got a little bit of hope. And then I was trying to, and then he started back not moving, and I thought he was dead again. So I started taking him toward the trash, and he started moving again. What was that? That was a kid that I had with a spirit spouse. You're gonna find that you can and do have children with spirit spouses. And so I didn't know it at the time because I came up. I wasn't in church a lot when I was a kid. My dad played piano in church. I pulled out of church at 9 years old or 8 years old, so I didn't go to church that much. And plus, the churches we went to, it's conservative Mississippi. We were in Baptist churches, so we weren't taught about demons and spiritual warfare. We didn't.
They don't teach you that in these churches.
You just think you're having a crazy dream. You just think you're having a crazy dream.
So yeah, they don't teach you that in these churches, and this is why this is one of my main topics. With these spiritual warfare and stuff like that, because all the years of our life we have been neglected from the truth of what's really going on in our life. Okay, so yeah.
All right, let's move on. But a string of miscarriages, right? Also, let me say this. Spirit spouses can and do, they will tempt you to get an abortion. They will tempt you into sex, and they will tempt you to get an abortion. I'm going to come back and do a lesson on the seven princes of hell, if you guys remind me. But I'm going to show you how they all like to work together. How they all like to work together. It's a system. If you pay attention to the system, you will find that one demon wants you to go out there. It increases or it pushes you to go out there and have sex. Then another demon increases or it encourages, not increases, but encourages you to go out and get an abortion so that they can have a legal right. Demons tempt you to go do certain things so that they can have a legal right, not just to you, but to your bloodline, because demons think in generations. So demons are not just looking at you, they're looking at the kids that you have and the kids that you may potentially have. They think in generations, all right?
They deep.
Number 9. And I want you to pay attention to your love life, right? Number 9. Health problems after dating or marrying a person. You start dating somebody and all of a sudden you get sick. You start having health problems after you dated or you married that person. You'll find that a lot of your celebrities, if you start paying attention, a lot of celebrities, for example, for me, I always think of myself as a spiritual investigator. So if I notice that somebody is deathly ill or something like that, my brain goes straight into, I want to investigate what happened. What is the correlation? Because why did he just start dating? As soon as he started dating her, as soon as he got married to her, he got deathly ill. Then I know 9 times out of 10, either he has a spirit spouse or she has a spirit spouse, so they both have spirit spouses.
So pay attention to that too.
Health problems after dating or marrying a person. Number 10, financial problems after dating or marrying a person. Yeah, including mental health for sure. Financial problems after dating or marrying a person. You find that your money all of a sudden goes under attack. You start dating somebody, you start getting serious about somebody, or maybe you propose to the person. All of a sudden, your money starts, everything you touch fails. That is usually a sign of a spirit spouse attacking you in the money area because it's trying to get you away from his spouse. All right, it's trying to get you away from his spouse. Number 11, sudden unemployment after dating or marrying a person. Sudden unemployment after dating or marrying a person. All of a sudden you lose a job after you start dating, you propose to, or you marry a person. That is a sign that you have a spirit spouse, or the person that you're dating, engaging yourself to, or marrying has a spirit spouse. Number 11, number 12, car accidents after dating or marrying a person. This is when the spirit literally kill you. So spirit spouses will try to take you out, okay? They will try to take you out. If you start dating somebody who got a spirit spouse and they got a strong spirit spouse, it will try to get rid of you through death, okay? It will try to separate you permanently from your ghost. And so Satan goes about seeking whom he may devour, which means he cannot devour everybody. Sometimes you're protected because you're in prayer and you're not in sin. Sometimes you may be protected by your grandmother's prayers, your mother's prayers. You may be protected, but demons will try to take you out. And so if you have a spirit spouse, it can try to take you out because of jealousy, or if you start dating a man who has a spirit spouse, his spirit spouse will try to take you out. To the brothers, if you date a woman.
It comes to mind when she said that when I was screening men and talking on the phone and stuff and screening, one guy did tell me that, you know, 2 of his wives died, you know, but thank God, you know, the enemy, I mean, not the enemy, God kept me away from him, you know, because he had some spirit spouses on him. But it did raise some red flags when I heard that, okay, because I'm not stupid, I'm not dumb. Why 2 people you've been with gone, okay? So that kind of raised some red flags. Like, okay, maybe he's like they have some women. Every man they get with pass, okay? And some men like that got these spirit spouses on them, boo. Don't want you to get with them. And you know, now that I'm into all this now, he probably had a spirit spouse on him, and that's the reason why both of his wives are gone, okay? And you think you're gonna get with me? Oh hell no, because you tell me that bull crap. No, it's red flags, boo. Something going on somewhere.
Was spirit spouse, her spirit spouse may try to take you out. I can tell you cases of deliverance where spirit spouses have tried to kill people. In many cases, they were unsuccessful. There are cases where I'm pretty sure they were successful. I have some suspicions in some cases that a spirit spouse took them out. But a spirit spouse, whenever you start dating a person or you get serious about a person, start trying to get engaged or get married to a person, a spirit spouse will look for a legal right. They go about seeking whom they may devour, which means who they can consume, right? So they will look for a way to consume. That means they will look for a legal right to accuse you. They will look for, is there any contract that's on you, any type of oath, is there anything that will allow them to consume you? If they can't totally take you out, in many cases what they'll do is they will attack you in any way they can. They will either steal, kill, or destroy. They're gonna look for those one of three things to do: steal, kill, and destroy. I got in a car accident on the day I got married, right? More than likely spirit spouse. And your husband became reason. Yes, that's a spirit spouse. I guarantee you it's a spirit spouse. I did deliverance with a couple one time, and I'm not going to tell this in entirety because I've told this story before, but I did deliverance with a couple one time, and they were separated and getting ready to go through a divorce. And it's one of the most beautiful cases of deliverance. This is when I did one-on-ones. But I did deliverance with that couple, and I remember they had separated. She moved states away, and she hated him. She hated his guts. And she went on to tell me that she had while she was with him, they had a company, and they were making a lot of money with the company, but the company, all the money was going to the employees. Like, they weren't bringing in enough money to take care of anything. So they started losing all of their properties. They started losing everything. Her husband became really lackadaisical and lazy. Like, he wasn't fighting back. He was just kind of letting it happen. She was panicking. She was frustrated. Then she ends up having a car accident, and she ends up being incapacitated. If I remember right, it was her brain. She had to have brain surgery. But she ends up being incapacitated for a while, and in the midst of all that, they're still suffering loss. And so after all that, she was bitter, she was angry, she wanted to divorce this man. She started going through a divorce with him. She thankfully set up a session with me. When I did one-on-one sessions, if you need a one-on-one session, Apostle Ivory Hopkins, pilgrimsministry.org, okay?
That's
Apostle Ivory Hopkins, pilgrimsministry.org, because y'all keep emailing me and asking me, and I don't have time to answer those emails because I'm like,
if you need deliverance, that is her site, okay? Get in contact with her, and she will do a session with you. She do one-on-ones, everything. You don't have to go to her, nothing, okay?
That's a full-time job. But I remember her telling me, and I'm thinking the whole time, car accident, money, loss of money, now they're going through a divorce. I started asking her questions, and I knew then, I was like, oh.
Spirit spouse.
I believe they both got a spirit spouse.
Both of them, yeah.
I believe they both have a spirit spouse. And that's what I ended up talking to her. She said my husband will be in town next week or 2 weeks now, I don't remember. And I said, hey, let's set up a session for them. I set up a session for the both of them. And I took them both through deliverance. God moved. God took them through deliverance through me. And God moved. He did some amazing things. It was one of the most beautiful deliverances. And
Wow.
both of them manifested a spirit spouse. And it was crazy because what it was doing was their spirit spouses, her spirit spouse was attacking him, his spirit spouse was attacking her. And I'm pretty sure they were attacking each other, but that spirit spouse was trying to divide them. And the thing about it was that they, said they had gotten together prophetically. And what that means is that somebody had prophesied or they had got a prophetic word, they knew that God had brought them together. But I don't know how those spirit spouses got in. They could have got in through sexual sin. I'm going to say this to you, and I'm going to say this out loud. For a lot of you, God can arrange you God can ordain, God can say, hey, that's your spouse. That's the person that you ought to marry. This is the person that I've set aside for you because you prayed. God can do that, but you can actually pervert it and give your marriage to the devil if you enter into sexual sin. Just a little FYI for those of you who say, well, I was married to somebody that was prophesied into my life and I believe God sent them and then everything went to hell. 9 times out of 10, you gapped. All right, you did something. You took that, remember I talked about that house? You built a room onto that house that led into the kingdom of darkness, which let the devil in. So you got to be careful that you don't try to hijack your next season because the devil will tempt you to go into sexual sin. That way he can get the deed and the title to your relationship. All right? He can get the deed and the title to your relationship. All right, more signs of that you have a spirit spouse. Number 13, dreams of being pregnant or children or having children. Dreams of being pregnant, having children, or having unfamiliar children refer to you as mom or dad. I told you guys about a dream I had back when I was married, and I dreamt, and like I said, I had a spirit spouse. I didn't know nothing about spirit spouses back then, but I remember a dream that I had a son and a daughter, and I was sitting at the table, and my mentor was at the table. I had a male mentor, his wife was sitting at the table, and the man I was married to was at the table. So in a dream, I thought the 2 kids belonged to my mentor and his wife. And this guy, he was an active mentor in my life, amazing man of God, the whole 9. And we're sitting in a dream, and one of the kids, or both of the kids, referred to me as mom. And I looked and I was like, why are you calling me mom? And because I heard them calling my mentor dad. I heard them calling him dad. But then they turned around and called me mama. I was like, why are you calling me mama? And the kids in the dream, they looked down, and everybody started looking down like I was having some type of episode. And I'm like looking around at the table, like, why are they calling me mom? And my ex-husband, he looked like he was ashamed. He was like, baby, because you are your mom. I'm like, no. And I remember coming to in a dream and having this thing that mean I cheated. That mean I had sex with my mentor, which I never did, of course. But I remember in that dream, I felt horrible. I felt like the worst of the worst because I'm like, man, this man. In the dream, I felt guilt. I was like, this man's wife trusted him to mentor me, and look at what I did. I felt horrible in the dream. And then I woke up from that dream. It was a spirit spouse. These were children I had with a spirit spouse. Another dream.
So she had the 2 kids in a dream calling her mom, okay? Calling her mom. So these things come in your dreams. Like, dreams really mean a lot, okay? And if ever I can start remembering my dreams, I want to remember them and write them down because they have meanings, okay? Especially when you're in a deep sleep, okay? I had a couple dreams, but I cannot remember, okay? Cannot remember. The devil is hijacking my dreams right now, okay? But we're still praying that God reveal my dreams to me. And, baby, guess what? Because I don't want the devil and the enemy to stop God from revealing my purpose, okay?
I had a dream. I had a little girl with an ex of mine, and we were in a store shopping. And she was holding on to the basket, and I looked at her face. She had his whole face. She was a beautiful little girl. I was just looking at her. She was like, mommy. Spirit spouse. So if you don't know, I suffered through 2 miscarriages.
Wow.
I dealt with barrenness, and I dealt with 2 miscarriages. I didn't understand spirit spouses back then. Now I can look back and say,
that was spirit spouses.
I could have got deliverance back in my
Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. We don't know.
God bless you.
We don't know.
Right. Number 14, hatred of sex, especially after marriage. Hatred of sex, especially after marriage. If you find yourself getting married, right, And you should not be having sex outside of marriage. We already know that, but some of you did, right? So if you were out there when you and your husband, or you and your wife weren't married, y'all couldn't keep your hands off each other.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get married, all of a sudden you hate sex. That is usually a sign you have a spirit spouse. That is usually a sign you have a spirit spouse. Demons hate legal things. You can probably, a demon, you can get aroused. You can get incredible.
So that takes me back to, my situation. Yeah, when we first got together, yeah, we was all in, couldn't stay off each other. But, as time went on, I don't know where the spirit spouses got introduced at, but yeah, it was baby terrible, okay? So he probably had spirit spouse, I don't know, but I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did, okay?
Aroused when you're outside the will of God, because the demon won't restrain you, right? Or the demon will cause you to lust all the more. But the minute you get inside the will of God, that's when the demon will sit back and, it's going to block you from having any type of feelings toward that other person. And so you find yourself hating sex. You find yourself just...
Been to that point too, where it was moments that we had no intimacy, okay, because I couldn't stand him, he couldn't stand me, and we was just living together, okay? Been there, done that, okay? We're just existing, we're married, God don't want divorce, so we're just going to stay in this thing until one of us pass and croak, okay? But yeah, thank God he removed that, okay?
And now you keep on having
headaches.
Torture.
Torture.
You want to have sex with your spouse, the sex is too painful, or you just can't stand it, you're disgusted by the person, that is a sign that you have a spirit spouse. That is not a healthy way of living. It's to be married and not actively engaging in sex, all right?
Right. That's spirit spouses.
Number 15, dreams of being chased or attacked by someone after dating or marrying a person. Dreams of being chased or attacked by someone after dating or marrying a person. You start dating this guy, you start dating, let's say Pete, and all of a sudden in the dream there's a woman chasing you around, and you start dating, let's say Deborah, and all of a sudden there's a man chasing you with a knife, and he's saying, get away from my wife.
Hold up, y'all, let me do something right quick.
He's chasing you down. That is a sign that Deborah's spirit husband is attacking you in the dream. He's trying to run you away. All right? He's trying to run you away. Number 16, reproductive problems like endometriosis, fibroids, miscarriage. These are usually signs. I'm not saying this 100% of the time, right? I don't want to disrupt you guys believe in science, but I do want to put your faith in God. Most of the times, what's biological is spiritual, but not everything is biological is spiritual. I would say maybe not, but I do believe in 98, 99% of the cases it is spiritual.
Yeah, I believe that too.
I took a young lady through deliverance one time when I used to do mass deliverances. I'm going to do another mass deliverance soon, but I took a young lady through deliverance. I remember toward the end of a deliverance of the call, we got hundreds of people on the line. And I remember the demon was screaming out through her, right? It was screaming out. And I started addressing that particular case specifically. And I asked the girl to talk, right? I didn't talk to the demon, I talked to her. And she started telling me she was getting ready to give up on life. She was tired, she'd been in so much pain. She said the pain is unbearable. She's gotten prayer before. And none of his work. She has been to all these doctors, and she's been diagnosed with endometriosis, and it was just incredibly painful. And you could tell that she was, was ready to give up on life. Well, here's the beautiful thing about the Most High God. God can do what your doctors can't do.
That's right. That's right.
So I remember this woman interrupted the call, and I could tell the woman was demonized. The woman said, "Hey, excuse me, Miss Tiffany, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I answer her?" And I was like, "Go ahead." And she was like, she started talking about all these health problems that she had. She said, "Baby, you just gonna have to learn to live with it.
Don't do that."
Gonna have to, and I said, hold up. No, she don't have to live with that. She don't have to live with that. And I was like, yeah. I stopped her from talking because I knew that was spiritual. I said, she don't have to live with that. She don't have to accept that.
Spiritual.
And I took her through deliverance, and as I'm taking her through deliverance, the spirit spouse manifested. And she got free.
Wow, praise God.
She got free. She got free from that spirit spouse. All right? So that is to say that God can deliver you, but things like reproductive issues are usually a spirit spouse trying to keep you from having kids, okay? It likes to attack your reproductive system. Again, I don't want to say this 1,000% because I don't want you to show up at a deliverance minister talking about, I knew I got that, and they looking at you saying, no, I think it's a biological issue, now you're ready to knuckle you up. All right? Reproductive problems like endometriosis, fibroids, and any thing like miscarriages, those are usually signs that you have a spirit spouse. If you couple that with you having sex in dreams and all these things, it's going to be increasing that, hey, it's like this spirit spouse there. Number 17, violent or obsessive lovers or exes. Violent or excessive lovers or exes. Sorry to hear that, Sister Vivette. Violent or obsessive lovers or exes. One of the things that you're going to find about spirit spouses is that a lot of times it makes it hard for you to cleave or cling to a person, and it can make you relatively cold. And so that means that you can get in a relationship, but one thing I've learned, and then most of the time you're going to be attracted to demonized people. Again, trauma is the devil trying to, the devil's training ground, but sometimes the enemy will bring you in the proximity of violent people so that they can so that the demons can strengthen themselves in you. And so a lot of cases, because you have an inability to cleave, an inability to care, because of the spirit spouse, a lot of times you may attract difficult or abusive people, and they begin to abuse you simply because you have y'all pray for my house with spiders.
And see, this is one important reason, why after the first of the year I am going to get delivered, and before I start dating again, I want to get delivered, and that person has to get delivered also. Okay, that's just it. If we're gonna move forward with anything, we gotta get delivered, okay? Because I don't want no spirit spouses cutting me up, stabbing me up, making me, crash out. I don't need them chasing me around because I'm with this ninja, okay? So we gotta get the ninja delivered, because when you meet people, you don't know what's going on in their world, you don't know their past, all you do is go by what they tell you, okay? So we have to use discernment.
He was a baby, so I'm not too afraid of him. All right. They will try to attack you. So that is to say, an unclean spirit, if you have a spirit spouse, a lot of times you will attract people who are very violent. And that's their demons in partnership with your demon. And that's because a lot of times they're going to sense an inability to cleave from you. A lot of times they're going to, and then too, the demon in them, because demons, even though the kingdom of darkness is not divided against itself, sometimes the demons, and you will find demons do fight for rank and power. They will fight amongst them. The kingdom of darkness is not divided against itself now, but they're not always kind to each other. You will find that demons, I got plenty of stories where I've seen demons fight for rank and fight for power, right?
Yep, they sure do.
You will find that a lot of times you can have something that's high ranking, and the other person can have something that's high ranking, and it causes friction between the two of you, right? It causes friction because what's happening is, I always call it Satan playing with his dolls. That demon and the other person could be trying to submit the demon in you.
Tell me about
that demon and the other person could be trying to submit the demon in you. Again, then demons work in partnership. It could be trying to bring you into more trauma. I can tell you doing deliverance and in settings like I've done plenty of mass deliverances, and the demon, if I'm taking one person to deliverance, that person may start to scream out help, but the demon starts screaming out help. While in that person, while they're going through deliverance, and you may see people that's in that city. I'm talking about in the physical building. You may see people come and try to interrupt the deliverance in that building, right? Because demons do cry out for help.
They sure do.
Demons, they do work together.
Oh, Jesus.
Right?
This is just too much, y'all. This is just too much. You're dealing with stuff you can't even see, forces that you cannot even see. I mean, this stuff is real. You're dealing with forces you cannot even see. Demonic forces that you cannot even see that's working against you. And this is what's going on in our world. And this is why we got to be aware.
They do work together. So that means that old boy's demon can use your demon to help it out. That they do work together. Your demon can help his demon can help your demon. His demon communicate and say, I'm losing control over this woman, or what have you. In comes a narcissist. In comes a narcissist. The Bible says, be wise as a serpent.
Be wise as a serpent. You gotta be wise. Yep, you gotta be wise. Don't be fooled.
Be wise as a serpent. So they can work together. Let's move on from there.
Please.
And I feel like I have to break that down a little bit more, and I don't want to do a whole teaching on that. All right. Where were we? Violent or obsessive lovers or exes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They wasn't violent, but they was
Violence.
thrown
Okay,
off.
number 18. Feeling or sensing a ring on your finger. Feeling or sensing a ring on your finger. You're walking around, you be like, I feel like I'm gonna get married soon. I keep on feeling a ring on my finger. Man, I'm telling you, I went through that one time as a Christian, all right, as a believer. And I was walking around like, my husband gonna be here any day now, because I keep feeling this ring on my finger. It wasn't until I started learning about spiritual warfare and learning about demons and spirit spouses that I realized, like, hey, that ain't supposed to happen. And I had to cast that thing off my finger. I had to break up with that devil. I had to take authority over it, bind it, send it to the abyss. I had to sit there, go through my deliverance process with that thing, and I haven't felt that ring since. But I went for a long time feeling that ring on my finger and bragging about it. I would tell anybody that had a good working set of ears, like, yeah, my husband's gonna be here any day now, but I keep on feeling the ring on my finger. Good gosh. All right, move on. Number 19, dream-induced orgasms or wet dreams. Dream-induced orgasms or wet dreams are a sign that you have a spirit spouse. No, wet dreams are not normal. They are not normal, all right?
Not at all.
Dream-induced orgasms or wet dreams. Number 20, being given jewelry in a dream. Spirit spouses love to give gifts, all right? Being given jewelry in a dream. Number 21, hostility and hatred towards your spouse. You get married and you can't stand him. You don't want him to touch you. It's just something about him. He just look raggedy to you.
Yeah.
It's just something about him. You
This
wonder
spirit
why I
spouse.
marry him. Or
Yeah.
you're looking at your wife and you're like, man, why did I even marry her? I'm not even attracted to her anymore.
Right, that part.
That is usually a sign that
That's
you
part
have
of
a
the spirit spouse going on in
right?
my marriage too. I'm serious.
Number 22, we got
This stuff
25
is
minutes.
real.
I'm almost done with this list. Destruction of property and life or destruction of property and life in general after dating or marrying a person. So destruction of property or your life seems to go to hell after you started dating or marrying a person. You find yourself, you married a person, everything, all of a sudden all your money went out the work window.
Everything
you lost your
go to
job, everything that you worked hard for, it left. That means that you had a spirit spouse or they had a spirit spouse, so in many cases both of y'all had one.
Yeah.
All right, destruction of property or loss of property after dating or marrying a person. Number 23, breastfeeding in dreams. That's when you have spiritual children with a spirit spouse. Breastfeeding in dreams. Now, I know, and I want to go ahead and address this now while it's on the top of my mind. Can you have a child with a spirit spouse? Yes. Marshall, thank you. God bless you. Can you have a child with a spirit spouse? Yes. Is it a natural child? No, it's a spiritual child. This is typically going to be a child that is going to show up in your dreams. And so you got to understand the purpose of sex is not just pleasure, but more so reproduction, right? So you got to understand demons don't have sex with you for pleasure because they don't have physical bodies to get pleasure with. Whenever you have sex in a dream, that means a demon is planting a seed. It can be planting a seed, a thought,
Ooh, that is gross, y'all. That is so gross. A demon is planting a seed. Oh, wow. Whew.
Evil thought. Let's say, for example, it can plant a seed of you having an evil thought toward maybe your pastor, right? All of a sudden you start having evil thoughts and you start thinking about, oh, she don't like me or he don't like me or this, that, and the other. That's a seed. And every seed, if you keep watering it with your imagination, it's going to grow. All right? It's going to grow. It could be an evil thought that your neighbor is your spouse. And so now you're over here talking and saying, I've been having dreams about my neighbor, and I think God said that that's going to be my husband and stuff like that. And you become 1,000% sure that that's God. and it ain't God. So now you end up having dreams of this next door neighbor, and maybe he's standing there in a white tuxedo and he's looking at you and he's like, "Will you marry me?" Or he's saying, "I do" to you, and you get up and you woke up, you're all excited, and now you're obsessed with the man. But in reality, that is a sign that you have a spirit spouse. What was me? Breastfeeding and dream. So you find you end up having a kid with a spirit spouse. So let me just say this: in the ministry of deliverance, one of the things that I have to say, and a lot of times whenever I'm getting ready to do deliverance, I think to myself, I wish I had told them before, because sometimes when I'm taking people through deliverance, when I find a spirit spouse, I'm also going to abort and terminate any. I'm going to abort any spiritual pregnancies and terminate any kids born to the union. That ain't always a good thing to say to.
So yeah, those kids are spiritual. So don't indulge in it. If you having any of these signs and symptoms of a spiritual spouse, you need deliverance. Okay.
Mother, right? Because the mother, if she doesn't understand, or even the father, but if they don't understand spiritual things, when you say, "I cut off the head of every spiritual child, I bind those children now in the name of Jesus," I terminate every demonic pregnancy, they're looking at you like, "What the heck? What the heck? Are you trying to kill my kids?" And that can bring them out. But realistically speaking, if you hear somebody going through deliverance and they start terminating, they're not talking about your actual kids, just so you know. They're talking about those spiritual children. Those things are, now understand, demons are ancient, not ancient. They're ancient too, but they're ancient. So whenever a demon plants a seed in you, whenever a demon, and let me tell you what book you need to go get. You want to know more about demonology, because I see y'all going off the beaten path. You want to know as much as you can about demonology. I got you, baby. Hold up. I got you. I got you. Let me see. And you have to remember the name of your own book. Bless God. This was on the bestsellers list for 5 weeks. The before and after taste of deliverance. I give you a breakdown of all types of demonic spirits and how the legal rights and stuff
before
like that.
And after deliverance is the book.
But it wants to be disrespectful. There we go. Go get this book off Amazon, and also be sure to get part 2, because there's 2 of them. The before and after taste of deliverance, the book of understanding. The first one is the book of knowledge, and the second one is the book of understanding. You can go. Don't look like I got a moderator on here tonight, so maybe just leaving me hanging at times. I'll tell you the truth, but I love them all the same. Let me see here. I'll put a link up for those of you who want to purchase the book. I'll put a link up to
Demonology.
To
Let's pass that up.
If the women in your family are strong-willed and cannot get or stay married, they like to have a spirit spouse. Number 4, if the men in your family cannot stay married and
going that way.
Them, not just his love for you, he will deliver them from you, because as long as they have access, they will continue to attack you. As long as they got access, they will continue to attack you. All right? And so sometimes God will divide. He will deliver them from you and deliver you from them, just to protect them from getting in trouble with him, because they are repeatedly trying to slow you down. They're repeatedly trying to attack you. All right? I'm not reading from a book. These are notes. My notes. All right? But you can get my book, The Before and After Taste of Deliverance, if you want more on the ministry of deliverance and demonology, and learn how demons work, how to cast them out, how to identify them.
Get a book if y'all want.
Show up at church. Show up at work. Or show up in a friendship. What's wrong with you?
Okay, so breaking down that, that's good. This whole video is kind of long. Get rid of the baggage. Get rid of the baggage from the past relationships. But yeah, who was this? I'm sorry, y'all. From France. Hey, from France. Okay, Lounge. What's good? Hello, what's your channel? You on my channel, baby. You're on my channel. Okay, yeah, so she is on point about this here. I was trying to find the other part. She was saying something about
Right. But when that servant went out, he found the one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 silver coins. He grabbed him and began to choke him. Pay back what you owe me, he demanded. His fellow servant fell to his knees with the word of God. David said, I took your word and I stored it within my heart, so I will not sin against you. Flesh says, I want to do the opposite, do what God told you to do. Even though your flesh says sin against God, do what God told you to do. Resist the temptation of the devil, all the temptation.
yeah, she was saying some lady, or was it a man? Yeah, how these ladies, they black. She said, well, I call it Black Widow, okay? Every man they get with, they die, okay? It's real tragic. So you gotta be careful who you give yourself to, and who you deal with, and who you let in your world encircle, okay? And a lot of failed marriages and relationships is because of these spirits, these different spirits and entities. And a lot of people don't know. And yeah, I went through that too, where I didn't like my marriage. I couldn't stand them, couldn't stomach them. Every time I saw them, I wanted to puke. That's how bad it was. But now I see this was spiritual, okay? And I don't know when it happened, but it was there. It was live and active, okay? So get that person delivered before you go laying down in bed, doing all that. If they're really serious, they'll do it. If they're not, then don't deal with them. Because you don't want to get with somebody and then, oh, now you having accidents or everything going bad in your world because they have those spirits attached to them, okay? So, I can't find that part she was talking about. But anyway, we're not going to worry about that. Oh, the spiritual spouse, that demon. So these spiritual spouses go, oh my God. So it's a spiritual spouse demon, and it comes in your dreams, and it plants seeds in you, okay? So if y'all experiencing any of that, let me see if she have her, because she do deliverance and stuff like that, okay? Let me see if she got any information on here about it, though. Oh, hold tight. What do it say there? Go to anointedfire.com. That's her official website. Anointedfire.com. Oh, maybe he was asking for her website. Anointed Fire. Hold up, she got several. Let me see if I go to anointedfire.com. Let me see what that website entails. Okay, so if you go to her website, let me see if she say anything on here. Trying to see if this is where you go at for the. I don't know how to reach her for that, but that's one of her websites. Trying to see the one that she do deliverance on. Okay, let's see. Anointed Fire. This might be the page she may do. Yeah, she do prayer requests, online booking. So go to Tiffany Buckner. I don't know if y'all can see that. TiffanyBuckner.com. That's TiffanyBuckner.com. Okay, and you can get one-on-one with her or whatever. Okay, if you want to get delivered. So that's her website, TiffanyBuckner.com. All right, y'all. I'm about to get off of here. Thank y'all for joining. Salute. Peace out.